Most people treat music production like a hobby and then wonder why they never finish anything. And the same thing used to happen to me until I implemented a small habit that guarantees I finish music at least every other week, despite how busy I may be. Because if you're new around here, for the past 6 years, I've been making music, and through a big chunk of it, I've also been running an online business at the same time, which means I'm juggling a lot of things, and I gotta find the time to actually make progress on not just the music, but also the business. And in this video, I'm going to show you the simple habit that if you implement, you're going to be able to finish at least 3 times as many songs while working on your job, your studies, whatever you got going on. First of all is batching up work depending on your energy levels. For example, for me, in the morning is when I have the most energy to work on any project, especially the hardest ones, which for me are usually writing new songs. So all of the writing I usually get done in the morning when I'm creating new songs, when I'm adding sections to different songs that I already have. Normally, if it means creating something completely new, I try to do it in the morning because it's when I'm most ready to put in all of the focus. I'm not tired from the day. I'm not thinking about 1,000 different things that I need to do. I can just focus on the hardest task. Then, during the middle of the day, I try to schedule things that take effort, but not as much as writing new songs, such as creating videos, such as recording vocals. These tasks for me are not super easy, but neither are they super hard, where I just need to come up with something out of nowhere. And finally, in the evening, I mix songs, I master the songs when I don't really need to think. I just need to hear and make decisions on what I'm going to tweak depending on that. But it's not as energy intensive as bringing something from zero to a melody or chord progression, stuff like that. Depending on when you feel you have the most energy and the most focus, I would encourage highly to put the hardest tasks or the most energy consuming during that time block. So if at night you're usually most inspired and you feel like you can write a lot of melodies, then schedule at night that time. And then if you feel like you don't have a lot of energy in the morning, maybe that's your time to mix and master songs. It really depends when you feel like you can get the most progress done. For me, in the morning, it's creation. As the day progresses, I start to do easier and easier tasks. Step number 2 is going to be the non-negotiable calendar blocking, where these tasks that I just talked about, you literally block them off in your calendar so nobody disturbs you. There are no meetings that you're going to take. There are no work-related activities that you're going to do during that time. If I want to block out from 8 to 10 a.m., there's nothing that I'm going to do aside from writing melodies. Making time for non-negotiable activities is a must, because if you just try to cruise throughout the day and think, oh, maybe I'll write songs now, maybe I'll mix and master now, your energy is just going to be scattered and the results are just going to be much more unpredictable. You're not going to be able to know how long it takes you to write a track, how long it takes you to master it. That was what I was doing for the longest time, just making music whenever I wanted to and just treating it like a hobby overall, rather than implementing the right systems and habits to make sure that I actually got something done. Now I know that a good track usually takes me on average 4 hours to complete, at least the idea, and then mixing and mastering as we're speaking takes another 4, 6, 8 hours. Mixing and mastering for me takes a bit longer, since I'm literally recording everything on my computer and literally mixing and mastering from my headphones. So I know it's going to be a bit more time consuming since I'm on the go. But at least I have an idea on how long it's actually going to take me, as opposed to just cruising around the day and getting stuff done whenever I feel like it. Also, when you don't block out the time, the things that you truly need to do, like your job or your studies, are going to start to take over your day. And the music is going to be pushed more and more aside, which is what's happened to me during the 4 years that I've been running the business. For at least a year, I completely left music to the side because I was just not being diligent with how I wanted to spend my time. If I wanted to go all in with the business or if I also wanted to continue with music. But since I didn't plan it ahead of time, work just started to invade the calendar and push music out of the schedule until there was nothing left. And for a whole year, basically, I didn't do anything. So hopefully that does not happen to you. With these habits that I just told you about, you're going to get a lot more consistent output because you know every single day you're writing a melody, a chord progression, a drum pattern. It doesn't matter what you work on, but you'll know you're putting in the effort to create something as opposed to just creating whenever you feel like it, or if you even have time or motivation. Number two, you're going to get better quality of work because you batched up the work whenever you have the most energy, so the hardest tasks get completed without much problem, while the easiest tasks you can just cruise along when you don't have as much energy. If you just have 1 or 2 hours per day to work on music, the only thing that would really change is schedule one day to record new songs, the next day to mix and master them, another day to write vocals. Just instead of splitting through a whole day what you need to do, just split it up over different days. But there is no excuse to batch up the work that you're gonna do and actually schedule it out so you're proactive with what you want to move forward with. I can guarantee you by implementing these simple habits, you're gonna finish at least 3 to 5 times as much music as before. As I said, it's the exact systems that I use while I'm literally running an online business, and I'm also finishing songs at least every other week. I hope this video was of value to you. If you enjoy, go ahead and subscribe, as I'm going to be dropping every single tip that I have on music production while I'm running a complete business. So if you have any other questions, just drop them in the comments below. And with that being said, I'll see you here for the next one.